Okay, so today we're looking at the notes for algebra, sections 1.1 through 1.3. These notes are a little bit different than what you'll be used to seeing because I'm doing these notes from a Word document. Normally, I'll import them into a Smart Notebook. However, this is just the easiest way of doing it for these for this particular lesson. So we talked about this a little bit today. So this lesson videos are going to be used for you to take notes. And so hopefully you have these handy. If you don't, you can always go back to Moodle and access the lesson notes on the Moodle webpage. So again, I'm going to go quickly through these notes simply because this should be information that you're already familiar with. So when it says evaluate an expression, okay, it says use substitution, evaluate when C equals 4. So part A says 4C. Well, when you see this expression here, you should be thinking 4 times C, and we know that 4 times C, so I just plugged in 4 for C. I know 4 times 4 is 16. All right, 8 over C, or 8 divided by C here. Now looking at part B, 8 divided by C, well, C is 4. So really we're going to translate this into 8 divided by 4, and we all know that 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now what we're going to look at is translating between powers, words, and actually writing out the product. So obviously this first example here, it says 1/5, and that's all it is. So in terms of words, we're going to say 1/5, my apologies, 1/5 to the first power. I apologize for my poor handwriting. You'll get used to it eventually, but hopefully as I'm talking through it, you don't have to necessarily go back and read what's on the screen. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to write with these markers, so there's my excuse. The product, obviously, since it's to the power of 1, it's just going to be 1/5. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Okay. If they tell you 6 squared, hopefully you recognize that squared means 6 to the power of 2. All right. And as a product, 6 squared is just 6 times 6. There's 2 of them. All right, so 6 squared. As we move down, it says 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, there's 4 of them. Okay, so I'm going to go to the power first. I know that that's 3, and since there's 4 of them, it's 3 to the 4th power. All right, and then obviously what I just said, so you'll take this, translate it into words, and it will just be 3 raised to the 4th power. Okay, so again, going from expressions to words, from words back to a different expression, those are all, it's going to be a common theme throughout this chapter and really throughout the course, translating from one thing to another. Example 3, evaluate d squared when d is 9 over 5. For whatever reason, people start getting all weirded out when you see fractions. There's no reason to panic. It's the same type of problem. All I'm going to do is take 9 over 5, and square that. And so that's just 9 over 5 times 9 over 5. And again, now, when you're multiplying two fractions, quick review, you multiply the tops, then multiply the bottoms. So this would just be 81 over 25. All right, and that would be your final answer there. So again, just kind of reviewing what it means to raise something to a power and evaluating. All right. So as we plug along here, order of operations, okay? There are 4 steps here. You can read through those, okay? The big thing is, and the thing that's going to make your life the easiest is just memorizing this acronym right here, PEMDAS, okay? Parentheses or brackets, okay, either one, so inside grouping symbols. So parentheses, then exponents, multiply and divide, those are on the same level, so you just go from left to right with that. Add and subtract, again, on the same level, so you just go left to right with that as well, okay? And so we'll look at this here momentarily. Again, exponents first, so 6 plus 12 divided by 3 times 16. Okay, now, I've done parentheses, I've done exponents, now I'm multiplying and dividing, all right? So multiplying and dividing go from left to right. Okay, so I see 6 plus, no dividing yet. Now, I see 12 divided by 3 first, so I do that first. 12 divided by 3 is 4 times 16. Now I continue doing it, so I've taken care of this division. Now I got to take care of this multiplying. So I keep 6 plus 4 times 16 is 64. And now I simplify this. 6 plus 64 is 70. Okay. Part B here, All right, it says 24 divided by 4 minus 1. Well, again, parentheses first. So I have 24 divided by 4 minus 1 is 3. And so 24 divided by 3 is just 8. So this one's a little bit more extensive because there's multiple grouping symbols. So I have 3 times 32 divided by, okay, now I have 6 minus 2 in parentheses. 6 minus 2 is 4. So the parentheses have gone away because I did what's inside the parentheses. So now I still have to do inside the grouping symbols first. So I have 3 times 32 divided by 4 is 8. And I have 3 times 8, which is 24. Okay, so again, just applying order of operations. Nothing new to you, but just a quick review so that as we go through and we start solving equations and simplifying expressions, there's no confusion. All right. On the back side now, okay, again, taking phrases, writing expressions, writing words. Okay, so when I look at the first phrase, it says the sum of 2 and a number x. Okay, keywords, sum. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Sum is the key word. Sum means obviously add, and then the two things I'm adding are 2 and x, so it would just be 2 plus x. Okay, or it could be x plus 2, same thing. All right. The third part says the difference. Difference, keyword, difference means subtract. Now this is where order matters. A number n and 6. So the difference between those two things would be n minus 6. And then again, here you have a number y minus 5. So you just write that exactly how you read it. Y minus 5. 1/3 of a number, of indicates a multiplication as well. So 1/3 of a number x. And then finally the quotient. Quotient means divide of a number k and 2. So you could write that as k divided by 2, or you can write it as k over 2. Means the same exact thing. Okay, no difference at all. All right. All right, there we go. All right, now we're going to go from the phrase, okay, some more intense phrases now, okay, not quite as straightforward. It says 8 times the quantity. Quantity, okay, quantity indicates parentheses. All right, so I would just start writing this immediately. I would write 8 times the quantity. 4 plus a number n. 4 plus n. Done. Okay, 7 less than twice a number k. So 7 less than. This indicates subtraction, but it doesn't say 7 minus. It says 7 less than. Okay, so when you think, just to kind of give you an example, if you think 7 less than 10, you're going to do 10 minus 7, not 7 minus 10, because 7 less than 10 is 3. All right, so less than indicates subtraction, but it's in the reverse order. Okay, so it says 7 less than twice a number k. So you have twice a number k minus 7. Finally, finding unit rates. Okay, so just some definitions, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and give you the book definition. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So these definitions can be found in section 1.3. Okay, on page 17, a rate is a fraction that compares two quantities measured in different units. Okay, so let me write that out. A rate, I'm just going to do this. Okay, there we go. It's a fraction that measures I'm sorry, not measures, compares, my bad. It's a fraction that compares two quantities measured in different units. Okay, and then the unit rate, okay, is if the fraction of the denominator is 1 unit. Okay, is 1. All right, so for this guy, for unit rate, which is really what we're going to be doing, is denominator, or bottom, is 1. Okay, is 1. All right, and what we're going to use is we're going to use the operation of division to find a unit rate, okay, or simplifying fractions. All right, so as we take a look at this now, finding unit rates, you're going to see it's very simply simplifying fractions is really what this boils down to, okay? So it says, I believe I skipped one example here. All right, it says a 16-ounce box of cereal costs $2.99. Find the unit rate to the nearest cent. Okay, to the nearest cent. So all you're going to do is you're going to say 16 ounces on top. Whoops. So you write your fraction. So 16 ounces are $2.99. All right. So I want to figure out how many ounces. And again, the idea is to get the denominator to be 1. Well, if I want the denominator to be 1, then what I have to do is I have to divide the top and the bottom both by $2.99. And again, remember, that's fine. That's completely acceptable when you're simplifying fractions. So 16 divided by $2.99 tells us that we get roughly 5.35 ounces for $1. Okay. Now, some of you hopefully recognize, well, wait a second. It says find the unit rate to the nearest cent. Okay. Well, $1, if I want that to be 1 cent, I have to divide both of these now by 100. Okay, right? Because $1 is 100 cents. So now, if I do that, now I have 5.35 divided by 100, and that's just going to be, so we have 0.054 ounces per 1 cent. Okay, so again, denominator's got to be 1, and whatever unit they give you, that's what you have to translate to. All right. So example 6 says, suppose your friends share cell phone service. They pay basic charge of $35 and $8.80 minutes. I'm assuming that there's more written there that's not on my screen. Let me just kind of scroll over here. Yeah, for 40 extra minutes. There we go. Find their total bill if they use 35 extra minutes. Okay. So they pay $35 up front and then $8.80 for 40 extra minutes. Okay. However, they only used 35 extra minutes. So what you have to do is you have to figure out now, all right, so they're going to pay, this is kind of a problem where you want to set up the big picture and then kind of break it up. So you have $35 no matter what, plus whatever they spend in extra minutes. All right. So in other words, you have $8.80 for 40 minutes. Our task is to figure out how much 1 minute costs, because once I do that, then I can figure out how much 35 minutes costs. Okay, well again, I need to find the unit rate, so I got to divide the top and the bottom both by 40. All right, so 880 divided by 40. Hopefully you have a calculator handy. If not, you can just go off mine. 880 divided by 40 is 22 cents per 1 minute. Well, obviously, if they use 35 minutes, I have to take 35 times that 22, and that's 7.7, so $7.70. I add it over here, and so the total cost is going to be 35 plus 770, which is $42. That's not a 4. So the total cost would be $42.70. All right. So again, hopefully this video wasn't too bad. A pretty good introduction into what to expect over the course of the semester. As always, I'll say this time and time again, any questions that you have regarding these notes, please bring them tomorrow to class and be prepared to ask them, and we'll go from there.